The empire we all thought was untouchable. Gone. Crumbled. Reduced to ashes by betrayal so shocking it makes reality TV look like a kindergarten playdate. Tonight, we're not just talking about a cheating scandal. No, my friends, we are staring straight into the eye of a domestic apocalypse. Tiny Harris, the woman who built a kingdom with her heart, her hustle, and her silence, has allegedly walked out. And why? Because the man she trusted most, the so-called King of the South, reportedly turned the one room she called sacred into his personal playground of deception. But wait, it gets worse. The betrayal wasn't just happening behind closed doors. It wasn't whispered in hallways or spilled over champagne glasses at some gala. Oh no. Sources, the kind who have never lied, allegedly, say it was happening in the nursery, the place where Tiny's children slept, where innocence should have reigned. And the accomplice. Not some random stranger. The very woman she welcomed into her family. Her staff. Her confidant. Her nanny. So, tell me, can you even imagine the scene? The heartbreak. The horror. A queen surrounded by snakes, every smile a lie, every hug a weapon. And Shekinah, her so-called best friend, is reportedly dragged straight into this nightmare. Buckle up. This isn't just a story. This is a house of cards collapsing in slow motion, and you're about to witness every scandalous detail. The world thinks it knows Tiny Harris. The woman who smiled through storms, held a family together with nothing but sheer will, and kept her loyalty ironclad. But tonight, the world is about to find out that even the strongest walls can crumble when the very people you trust are armed with knives hidden behind velvet smiles. Tiny, the queen of the empire she helped build, allegedly walked into her sanctuary only to find a betrayal that reads like a thriller novel. Not the kind you flip through casually on a Sunday afternoon. No. The kind that makes you question every handshake, every laugh, every hug you've ever given. Let's set the stage. T.I., the man whose name is synonymous with rap royalty, the King of the South, whose empire stretches from platinum records to luxury brands, reportedly became the architect of a nightmare right under his wife's roof. The whispers start small. A too long glance, a door shut a second too late, a smile that doesn't quite reach the eyes. But according to sources who allegedly have access to the inner workings of the Harris estate, it wasn't just flirtation or infidelity. It was a meticulously constructed betrayal. And at the center of it, the one person Tiny trusted with her life, the nanny. Yes, the woman she welcomed into her home, gave keys to, trusted with her children, reportedly became the instrument of her heartbreak. And when we say heartbreak, we're not talking about some petty gossip. Imagine walking into the nursery, a room that should be a sanctuary, and finding the man you vowed to love forever in a situation that shatters every illusion you ever had about your life. That is allegedly what Tiny faced. A betrayal so deep it could make stone weep. And then there's Shekinah. The name that once echoed as laughter and loyalty now allegedly echoes as complicity and deceit. Tiny's confidant, her friend, her sister-in-arms through every public trial and personal challenge, reportedly wasn't shocked by the betrayal. No, according to insiders, she was already part of the twisted narrative. While the world cheered for Tiny on reality screens and social media, Shekinah allegedly held secrets darker than the studio lights could ever hide. Allegedly, she had her own connection to the very man Tiny trusted, and her silence wasn't fear alone, it was fear mixed with participation. Sources whisper about late-night calls, cryptic messages, and the quiet hum of secrecy. It wasn't just cheating, one anonymous insider allegedly told us, voice trembling. It was psychological warfare. He made them watch, made them participate. Tiny was the last to know, and by then, it was too late. And isn't that the cruelest this video? To realize that your life, the one you've carefully built, isn't just collapsing from outside forces but from inside your inner circle. But let's not forget T.I.'s history. The man has faced headlines before, from past allegations to public controversies, yet he always came out smiling, polished, untouchable. And here's where the irony bites. The very woman who shielded him through every public storm was allegedly the one blindsided by his most private storm. A queen protecting a king, only to find that the throne itself was built on shifting sand. Imagine the scene. Tiny standing in a room filled with memories, photographs of laughter, birthdays, family vacations. And in that same space, a betrayal so grotesque that it doesn't just break hearts, it fractures reality itself. Reports from sources close to the family, the kind who insist on anonymity because, allegedly, they still fear the reach of T.I.'s influence, describe her shock as something frozen, like time itself stopped and left her behind. One source said, "She didn't scream at first. She couldn't. Her hands shook. Her vision blurred. And then the realization hit, everything she thought was real was a carefully orchestrated lie." Social media, of course, erupted before Tiny even processed it. Leaks, rumors, cryptic posts from friends of friends, alleged insiders posting grainy images of the estate. The narrative spread like wildfire. The nanny, the best friend, the husband, a triangle of betrayal so cinematic it would make a Tarantino scene look tame. Fans didn't just comment. They created digital vigils, hashtags, and conspiracy threads that would make the FBI blush. And while the world debated the authenticity of these leaks, one thing was clear. The emotional fallout was catastrophic. Let's talk psychology. Allegedly, T.I. didn't just cheat, he engineered a system of control. By manipulating both Shekinah and the nanny, he allegedly ensured that Tiny remained isolated, unaware, and alone. Every smile from her friend, every act of loyalty from her staff, allegedly served as a weapon against her. And the most chilling, this video. Reports say this manipulation extended to Tiny's children. Not directly, of course, but the very air they breathed in the house was reportedly tainted with tension, secrecy, and deception. Allegedly, it was a psychological minefield where one wrong step could trigger the full weight of betrayal. This isn't your average cheating headline. This is what happens when loyalty is weaponized, when love is manipulated, and when trust is systematically dismantled from the inside. Allegedly, Tiny's discovery wasn't accidental. Sources claim she caught a moment that was too perfectly timed, too perfectly staged. And in that instant, the weight of 2 decades of life, loyalty, and love allegedly hit her like a freight train. And what about Shekinah? Allegedly, the betrayal wasn't black and white. Sources suggest a complex, tangled web where fear, loyalty, and coercion collided. Shekinah, once the loudest cheerleader in Tiny's corner, allegedly became an unwilling participant in the very events that destroyed her friend. Allegedly, she was manipulated, coerced, and psychologically trapped. She wasn't just a friend who betrayed, she was, allegedly, a pawn in a larger game she could barely escape. Public reaction. Explosive. Fans flooded forums, news comment sections, and social media, debating, accusing, sympathizing. "I can't believe she trusted them," wrote one comment, allegedly from a fan who claimed insider knowledge. "This is beyond cheating. This is orchestrated cruelty." Others debated the plausibility, calling for proof, pictures, footage, anything that could confirm the whispers that spread faster than wildfire. Allegedly, Tiny herself has remained silent publicly, but sources say she's been rebuilding, recalibrating, and preparing for a showdown that could rewrite her family's narrative forever. And don't think this stops with the household. Allegedly, the drama has rippled through the entertainment industry. Friends, collaborators, and even sponsors reportedly started asking questions. Who knew what, and when? Allegedly, the scandal threatens not just reputations but contracts, endorsements, and alliances that took years to build. One anonymous insider allegedly warned, "This isn't just a personal collapse. This could become a corporate avalanche." But here's the kicker, this is just the tip of the iceberg that the story reportedly dives deeper. Financial irregularities, social media sleuthing, anonymous exposés, and the alleged fallout from a betrayal so multifaceted that it could topple careers, friendships, and empires. Allegedly, Tiny Harris isn't just walking away. She's walking away with an army of truths in her pocket, truths that are ready to explode if the wrong person crosses her path. And the world? They're watching. Social feeds are buzzing, hashtags trending, and the emotional earthquake continues to reverberate across the digital landscape. Tiny, the queen who once protected everything, is now allegedly the ultimate observer, the only one in the room seeing the entire truth while the rest scramble to cover their tracks. Allegedly, the tension is so thick that you could cut it with a diamond. And now, just when you think you've absorbed the full weight of the betrayal, the drama escalates. Because allegedly, the nanny isn't the only one facing scrutiny. Shekinah, once a pillar of support, reportedly finds herself cornered, exposed, and unraveling under pressure. Allegedly, her own secrets, the ones she carried alongside T.I.'s manipulations, are about to surface, and when they do, the fallout may not just affect Tiny's family. It could shake an entire entertainment ecosystem. The air is heavy. The mansion is empty. The silence, deafening. And yet, even in that stillness, there are whispers, allegations, and reports that suggest the real story is only beginning to unfold. Allegedly, Tiny Harris isn't just a victim. She's a force to be reckoned with, a woman whose patience, loyalty, and resilience have been tested to their absolute limit. And the people who underestimated her, well, allegedly, they're about to regret it. The scandal reportedly explodes outward, from the mansion to social media, from whispered leaks to alleged financial discrepancies, and from private heartbreak to public reckoning. The Queen has left the palace, but the story, allegedly, is just getting started. As the dust settles in the mansion, the echoes of betrayal reportedly ripple outward, reaching corners of the entertainment world no one saw coming. Allegedly, sources close to the Harris family say that the nanny scandal is far bigger than a single act of infidelity. It's a carefully orchestrated web of deception, manipulation, and psychological warfare. And at the center of it all, Tiny Harris, standing alone while the empire she built threatens to collapse around her. Imagine this, a woman who spent 20 years building her reputation, her family, and her legacy, allegedly blindsided by a man she loved and a friend she trusted more than anyone. According to anonymous insiders, T.I. allegedly didn't just cheat. He allegedly engineered a psychological chessboard, controlling not only the nanny but Shekinah, forcing both women into complicity while Tiny remained the last to see the cards on the table. One alleged insider whispered, "It wasn't just betrayal. It was performance art, a nightmare masquerading as domestic life." Public reactions. Explosive doesn't even begin to cover it. Allegedly, the first leaks of the scandal appeared on social media late at night. Cryptic screenshots, blurred images of the mansion, and messages hinting at secret meetings in the nursery. Fans of Tiny flooded the comments with outrage. How could she trust them? How could he do this in her own home? Others speculated endlessly about the timeline of events, dissecting alleged social media posts for hidden meanings. The digital streets erupted in a storm of hashtags, memes, and emotional essays defending Tiny while condemning T.I. and Shekinah. Sources claim the fallout wasn't just online. Allegedly, mutual friends of the family started receiving anonymous texts warning them to stay silent. "You don't want to be involved," one source allegedly said. "He has a way of making loyalty feel like betrayal and betrayal feel like power." Everyone in the house knew the rules, and Tiny, she didn't know the game was even on. Allegedly, it's this level of control that made the scandal so unprecedented. A triple betrayal where every player in the inner circle was trapped in a story they didn't sign up for. Then there's the alleged financial angle. Sources report that T.I. allegedly used household funds in ways Tiny would never have approved, lavish spending on private excursions for the nanny, untraceable gifts, and secret accounts allegedly designed to maintain silence. One alleged insider said, "It wasn't just emotional manipulation. It was a total takeover. Finances, family, perception, control. Tiny funded the very betrayal she thought she was protecting against." Allegedly, the layers of deceit run deeper than most fans can imagine, creating a scenario where trust, love, and money were weaponized against the woman who gave everything to protect them. And the nanny. Allegedly, she wasn't just an accessory to betrayal. She was reportedly the central figure in a meticulously calculated plan. Sources allege she played both sides, pretending to care for Tiny's children while simultaneously participating in secret rendezvous and whisper campaigns. "She smiled, she laughed, she comforted Tiny," one alleged source said. And behind those smiles, she was rewriting the rules of engagement. Allegedly, the power dynamics weren't just about sex or desire. They were about control, influence, and survival in a house where truth was optional and betrayal was mandatory. Shekinah's role, allegedly, is where the scandal spirals into the cinematic. Insiders suggest she was not merely aware of the infidelity but actively involved in the psychological manipulation of Tiny. Reports claim that T.I. allegedly forced Shekinah to witness encounters, creating a system where complicity equaled survival. One alleged former staffer said, "It was like watching a play where the lead actor doesn't know the script." Tiny was living in a house of mirrors, and every reflection was designed to confuse her. Allegedly, this psychological trap kept Tiny isolated while the rest of the household was aware of every lie, every secret, every betrayal. Then, of course, the public couldn't resist weighing in. Allegedly, celebrity reactions poured in. Friends of Tiny posted subtle yet loaded messages hinting at support, while T.I.'s allies defended him with cryptic statements and vague promises of future explanations. Social media influencers created reaction videos, TikTok threads dissected Instagram posts for hidden signs, and YouTube commentators uploaded countdowns of alleged moments leading to the collapse. Fans weren't just observing, they were participating, creating a digital theater of outrage, speculation, and relentless analysis. Sources also claim that the alleged digital evidence goes far beyond posts and screenshots. Allegedly, there were voice notes, mysterious text threads, and even supposedly encrypted group chats where the inner circle coordinated their story. Tiny didn't just find out she was betrayed, an alleged insider said. She found out the betrayal was planned, rehearsed, and recorded. Every angle covered, every witness manipulated, every secret bankrolled. It was a production, and she was the only audience not in on the show. Then, as if the scandal weren't already explosive enough, alleged leaks suggest the drama has reached potential business implications. Sponsors and collaborators reportedly started asking questions, allegedly pausing projects tied to T.I. and his brand while the scandal unfolded. One insider allegedly whispered, "People are scared. Not of Tiny, she's untouchable, but of being associated with a story this toxic. It's like radioactive fallout. One wrong move, and your reputation melts." Allegedly, these corporate ripples could lead to cancelled endorsements, paused tours, and long-term financial damage. The alleged social fallout also allegedly affected Tiny personally. Sources suggest she was reportedly forced to make difficult decisions about whom she could trust, even among extended family members and close friends. "Everyone's suddenly a suspect," an alleged source said. "Who spoke too soon? Who texted the wrong person? Who knew what?" Tiny was in a storm, and the lightning was inside the house. Allegedly, this atmosphere of paranoia and betrayal was carefully cultivated to maximize control, making the scandal as much about psychological dominance as it was about personal infidelity. And the fans? Allegedly, they went wild. Hashtags like #TinyDeservesTruth and #KingFallen started trending. Memes painted T.I. as a chess player, Shekinah as the pawn, and the nanny as the wild card. Allegedly, the commentary wasn't just entertainment. It became a forum for collective outrage, speculation, and a surprisingly detailed breakdown of events that may or may not have occurred. The lines between fact, rumor, and fabrication blurred, yet the emotional impact remained undeniable. Sources claim that some alleged behind-the-scenes footage showed Tiny moving through the house, reportedly discovering items, gestures, or messages that confirmed every suspicion. Allegedly, the quiet weight of realization settled over her like a fog. She walked into rooms she thought were safe, one alleged insider said. And every step reminded her that the world she knew had been a lie. Allegedly, these moments, while never confirmed publicly, have been dramatized and analyzed by fans, making Tiny not just a victim but a symbol of betrayal in real time. And then came the alleged legal concerns. Sources whisper about potential probes into financial arrangements, contracts, and property holdings. Allegedly, lawyers have been quietly reviewing the estate, tracking payments, and analyzing potential mismanagement, creating a storm of legal intrigue around a scandal that started as a personal betrayal. "It's like a domino effect," an alleged insider said. "Once the first tile falls, the rest will follow, and nobody will be able to stop it." Finally, the alleged emotional toll on Tiny reportedly cannot be overstated. Sources claim that for the first time in decades, she reportedly experienced a mixture of shock, rage, and liberation. The same woman who shielded, protected, and endured has allegedly found herself in a position where the world is watching, but she is finally free to decide her own narrative. Tiny didn't just survive, an alleged insider said. She's recalibrating. She's observing. And soon, she'll respond in ways no one is ready for. And just as the world thinks it's seen the full scale of the scandal, insiders allege that more layers are waiting to emerge. Secret recordings, private accounts, and messages that could blow the lid off every story told so far. Allegedly, the nanny isn't finished being scrutinized, Shekinah's role is far from resolved, and T.I.'s empire may face challenges that stretch beyond the mansion and into public perception. The scene is set. The scandal has exploded across social media, allegedly infiltrated legal channels, and disrupted the family, industry, and fans alike. Tiny Harris is reportedly preparing her next move, while the public watches, speculates, and reacts in real time. And the reckoning that may finally bring justice, closure, or further devastation. But the echoes of betrayal are louder than ever. Tiny Harris, allegedly walking through the rubble of a life she spent decades building, reportedly isn't just grieving, she's recalibrating. Sources whisper that the Queen of the Harris Empire is now strategically planning her move, preparing for a reckoning that could shake every corner of T.I.'s world. And if you thought the public drama was enough, insiders suggest the fallout is about to become explosive on multiple fronts. Let's start with the legal angle. Allegedly, Tiny's legal team isn't here for small talk or polite negotiations. Reports claim that they're scrutinizing every financial transaction, every contract, every asset linked to the family empire. From alleged secret accounts used to fund the nanny's silence to luxury expenses masked as household costs, sources say lawyers are building a case that could rock the financial foundation of T.I.'s holdings. One alleged insider said, "Tiny isn't asking for half. She's asking for full disclosure and accountability. Everything hidden will be exposed." Meanwhile, the public isn't sitting quietly. Social media continues to burn, fans flooding hashtags, commentary threads, and discussion boards with opinions, outrage, and what some call internet justice. Allegedly, the combination of celebrity gossip, leaked screenshots, and supposed insider info has created a digital courtroom where T.I., Shekinah, and the nanny are already judged in the court of public opinion. Memes portraying T.I. as a king dethroned went viral, while Shekinah allegedly faced intense scrutiny for her alleged complicity. And let's not forget the nanny. Suddenly, she's become a household name synonymous with betrayal, with alleged sightings and online tracking by obsessive fans amplifying the tension. Sources claim that the alleged psychological impact on Tiny is profound. After decades of loyalty, shielding, and maintaining appearances, she reportedly experienced a strange mixture of relief and fury. "She's empty, but she's alive," one alleged insider said. This isn't just a divorce or betrayal. It's a personal revolution. And Tiny is quietly, meticulously reclaiming her power. Allegedly, this newfound agency isn't about revenge in a messy, petty sense. It's about reclaiming her narrative, controlling the story she has been forced to watch unfold for too long. Financial consequences reportedly extend beyond personal settlements. Allegedly, major business partners, sponsors, and collaborators tied to T.I.'s ventures have started distancing themselves, either as precaution or out of fear of reputational damage. Sources say this includes endorsement deals, streaming partnerships, and even private investments connected to the Harris brand. "It's not just the mansion that's crumbling," an alleged insider said. "It's the empire. Every deal, every contract, every handshake, they're all under review. And Tiny has her eyes on all of it." Allegedly, Shekinah's situation is also intensifying. Sources suggest that the mental and emotional toll of her alleged involvement has pushed her into isolation. Reports say she's undergoing therapy, reportedly grappling with guilt and fear that her complicity has permanently fractured relationships and public perception. One alleged insider said, "Shekinah is learning the hard way that betrayal has consequences, and public opinion doesn't forget. Even if she claims she was forced or manipulated, the world sees the role she played." The nanny, allegedly the catalyst of this scandal, reportedly went into hiding. Sources suggest that she's been receiving threats, avoiding public appearances, and allegedly facing her own legal scrutiny over financial irregularities tied to hush arrangements. Allegedly, fans and insiders continue to track her every move online, turning her flight from the public eye into a dramatic subplot in the ongoing saga. Meanwhile, T.I. reportedly faces more than just legal and public backlash. Alleged insiders suggest the psychological weight of this scandal, combined with the collapse of trust within his inner circle, has created unprecedented tension in his personal and professional life. He's used to control and loyalty, one alleged source said. Now he's surrounded by suspicion, fear, and a public that won't stop watching. It's a type of isolation he's never experienced. Allegedly, even attempts to control the narrative with statements, videos, or social media posts have failed, as public attention remains firmly with Tiny. Allegedly, the emotional climax occurred when Tiny reportedly returned to the mansion one last time. Sources claim she collected her children's belongings, walked past the remnants of the nursery where betrayal allegedly occurred, and closed the door forever. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She walked like a queen leaving a fallen palace, an alleged insider said. And in that silence, you could feel the weight of 2 decades evaporating. Allegedly, that click of the door was not just closure, it was the beginning of Tiny's resurgence. Fans, of course, continue to weigh in. Allegedly, support for Tiny has become a global phenomenon. Hashtags like #Timony, #QueenRises, and #EndOfTheEmpire dominate trending topics. Comment sections are flooded with declarations of loyalty, outrage at T.I., and speculation about future moves. And while the internet is ablaze with opinion, sources say Tiny herself is reportedly moving quietly, strategically, avoiding the frenzy while ensuring her next steps are unstoppable. Insiders also allege that Tiny's legal team has begun uncovering more layers of potential mismanagement. Reports claim that alleged irregular payments, secret gifts, and financial maneuvers meant to keep the nanny and possibly Shekinah compliant are now under scrutiny. One alleged source said, "Every dollar, every transaction is being examined. Tiny isn't leaving any stone unturned. This isn't just about betrayal, it's about accountability." Allegedly, the magnitude of this financial investigation could reshape public understanding of the Harris empire entirely. Meanwhile, the cultural impact reportedly can't be overstated. Allegedly, reality TV fans, hip-hop communities, and social media influencers are treating the scandal as both a cautionary tale and a spectacle. "People are obsessed," one alleged insider said. "It's a mix of heartbreak, fascination, and schadenfreude. Tiny's pain is universal, and people are invested in her story like never before." Allegedly, the drama has transcended celebrity gossip, becoming a case study in loyalty, manipulation, and power dynamics. And just when you think the story is done, sources claim there's more. Allegedly, private recordings, allegedly hidden messages, and undisclosed communications are still circulating in certain circles, suggesting that T.I. and his inner circle may not have fully accounted for the fallout. Allegedly, Tiny has allies who are quietly preparing to release evidence or leverage these revelations, turning private betrayal into a public reckoning that could echo far beyond the Harris mansion. Allegedly, what makes this scandal unprecedented is the layering of betrayal. It wasn't just a husband cheating. Allegedly, it wasn't just a friend complicit. It wasn't just a nanny overstepping boundaries. It was an orchestrated collapse of trust, engineered in ways that allegedly trapped everyone inside while keeping Tiny oblivious until the perfect moment. One alleged insider said, "It's rare to see betrayal so complete, so cinematic, and so calculated. Tiny was the last to know, but she will be the first to act." Finally, the world is left with a question. Who will rise from the ashes, and who will crumble under the weight of scandal? Allegedly, Tiny Harris is emerging stronger, wiser, and more untouchable than ever.